Sweetie. Your phone.
I think so.
Comes on the couch.
And we are also streaming now.
Do we lose what's his name permanently?
Yeah, because he's in charge of the CFD group now.
Fair enough.
And he said that since he only has 3 days worth of free time, that he wants to use those to focus on running that.
Yeah.
Putting the sword away and knocking them over. Yeah.
So, if I may ask, how'd we get to the Witchet?
How'd you get to the Witchet? Because at the end of the last session, I said, well, since you guys are going to be taking 2 weeks worth of downtime, would you rather spend that back at the tavern instead of over in the town? And I was an idiot as I was setting this up and set you guys up on the first floor instead of setting you guys up on the second floor with all the fucking rooms. Because I forgot to edit the second floor to not have what's his face on it.
Just checking for continuity is all.
Yeah. Although, since you have brought up that in continuity, let me actually do a quick fix here of the second floor while we wait for everybody here to get situated.
But I still can't see the map.
How can you not see the map? Did I not give you vision again or something?
I don't know, it just says game pause.
How about now?
Now it doesn't say game pause and it's just a black screen.
Yeah, you probably don't have vision.
He has a sickness in his body that.
I'm gonna move these. So I feel like it might just be that you aren't in the right place looking. How about now? Can you see anything now?
Great. Hang on a second. I do not own a token with vision in this scene.
How do you not own a token?
Oh, I gave you my token picture.
Yeah, and I have a token on there, which is you. Hold on.
Okay.
And it's represented actor, token name.
Okay, so does a random person just walk up to me and like poke my eyes out and know I'm blonde?
You are now blind.
In the players in the bottom left, you may just have to link them.
Hold on. How about now?
Cool.
Take that as a yes?
Yeah, I can see it now. I couldn't see anything last session. And so I hopped over to George's group.
Had you set to owner of the token, but apparently I have to set you to owner of everything in between. It's because I just had to take you off of owner of the actor and then make you the owner of it again and then update the token and then that fixed it for some reason.
So it was like the baby monitor protocol.
Yeah, set to turn you off and on again.
Cool.
Are you changing just her token or the prototype token?
I'm changing her actor, which is her character sheet.
Okay, yeah, then you.
Yeah, last session I thought it was my computer. So I walked over to George's. I was like, no, it's George's computer is strong enough to do this.
Yeah. And her token is linked to her actor, so anything that I do to the actor should, in theory, fix the token as long as I update the token afterwards. And I sucked in like half a glass of fucking water in my lungs because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, it's really not good.
You saying you don't do that just killed me for some reason.
All right, so do we have everybody here? I'd like to hear everybody. Stream is running, the audio bots here. Stream is up. We've been running fine for 5 minutes. Hopefully it stays running fine. And we have Aller in here. I know I heard him. We have Tara. Is Todd here?
Here for what?
I'm here.
And Trey?
Yep.
Just getting a sound off. All right, cool. So everybody is here.
They're taking turns of knocking guys that don't have weapons down.
Let me just reset the fog of war real quick. That way it should be blank again. Yep. All right, cool. All right, so it's been 2 weeks, just about, since you guys have acquired the books and you've had time to read them. And you go over them and gather some other information. Something else that I will also say, because I forgot to mention it last time, is that in the second journal, pasted up against the back cover, is that map which I pasted into the lore chat. And it looks very similar to what the current maps are, but it's just labeled differently. Like the names of places aren't quite matching.
Okay.
The one that did it so well. This guy did so well.
Other than that, you're back at Widgets. The same sort of people seem to be here again. They appear to be regulars of some sort. They're on the first floor currently.
Looking for Bagville. You said it's Odin?
Yeah, it should be Odin on that map.
If you, at the bottom, open original, you can zoom in and see everything.
Yeah.
I have the big one open.
And Odin is on the smaller version. If you look to where Bahi is, it's to the left of there, past Roar March. It's right at that one little blue spot.
Yeah, I see
the
it.
Bottom. Yeah.
I see it between the Kurenlock and Roar March.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we were. Which way did we go to get to the tavern?
So the tavern is a little bit south of there if you follow the river, because Keto and Lyson is basically where Olivera Bono is right now, with Lysan being the original city. God, fucking.
Okay, got it. Now I've got a good idea of where we are. I'm going to say, oh my God. I'm going to say Pathos is sort of standing awkwardly in front of the fire. I understand this chemical reaction brings comfort to living beings. I do not understand it.
Stick pipes. Go ahead.
It's just what it is.
Schnick sees you standing there, and he asks if you feel anything.
There is a warm sensation. It registers as a proximity alert. Too close, and I could sustain damage.
Oh yes, you're not wrong. Don't get too close, but close, warm is good, but hot, whew, don't go there. Have we?
I have various
Your question.
systems that require specific temperature parameters to function. Too cold, and they will cease. Is this the same for you?
Affirmative.
Those continues looking into the fire.
But be that as it may, we are now left with the question of what to do and where exactly we should go. A map is helpful, but aside from the fact that it does not have a glaringly large X with the words "go here," I'm a bit at a loss.
Schnick jumps up and he says, Gnomes love riddles, and I've got a pattern that I found on this map. Got a pattern, and I think we have a way. Believe it or not, we are here. And he points to would be Odin on the map, or nearby. The books mention the altar under Orkistan and a mountain range with a harpy altar in the middle. If we were to go to either one of those, it's all pretty much in a straight line. Just one trip visit, we can fell swoop and hit them all in a row. Or the only other book to mention anything about the gods, because is who we're looking for after all, is the one about fighting Poseidon, or him being mean, and I'm not really up for that battle right now. So I say we look at these mountains, find what screaming harpies there may be, although that may be buried in lava, so maybe we go visit the orcs. Anybody got to think anything against the orcs?
Trey.
Wait, did you say that the harpies would be buried in lava?
Maybe. What was it? The one that's in the mountains.
The one that's in the mountain is the harpies. The one that mentioned lava was the altar under Orkistan.
Oh, I flipped it in my head. Okay, well, Schnick said it right.
Trey and or Ace, can you help me find the mountain range and Orkistan on the map here?
Orkistan is where I believe I said it was Brechlin is what I said, correct? Let me just double check.
You're looking at Odin, right?
Yeah, I think I see it. It's,
yeah.
North.
Go to the 2 o'clock. Yeah.
A little ways, a long ways north and a lot longer ways east.
Yeah.
And then the mountain range is that one that's right in the Masson March region. It's that big mountain pass right there.
No, sure enough, we could definitely go through these dotted lines. Are they roads or are they borders?
The dotted lines are paths that people take. The darkened lines are like actual roads. So the dotted lines are like places that people have been through. Not necessarily borders, because this doesn't really appear to be a border map. Kind of more of a merchant's map, something like that.
Okay, so this
it shows all the different paths. So dotted is like some sort of back road or something, and then the darkened lines that are orange are like actual paths.
So it looks like the most well-traveled way to go is this road that's north of north of Bagville, that skirts along the northern edge of Rormarch and the Vampire's Hold, goes through the mountains in question, around the north end. No, that would end at the sea, but we could cut through the Treucht forest and then across to Orkistan.
That sounds good to me.
Pathos
like
says in a
whatever.
very robotic manner.
Oh, that sounds good to me. I like going around the vampire's hold. I don't know what's there, but it doesn't sound good. We can go around it. We can keep on going.
Agreed.
We need ice.
I hate to interrupt your planning, but none of you have explained to me what your mission is yet.
Our task is to choose the next round of gods, who to seal away and who to release.
Then where did you get such a mission?
In our dreams, of course.
From where?
In our dreams. Have you not had any such calling?
Afraid I haven't.
I understand it is an uncommon calling. I believe it is in my programming somewhere, though I do not understand why.
It was less of a dream and more of a sign on the dotted line, or else we'll take everything you own sort of deal.
Be that as it may, it seems we all have come here from different reasons, different paths, different ways to go. We three are going in the same direction. You seem to want to tag along. You may not have a calling for the gods, but do you know who they are? We might could use some help.
Don't believe I know too much about the gods here.
Great. Neither do we. We're learning.
All right.
We're learning together.
If you continue to go with us, the only warning I have is so far, everywhere we seem to go, we seem to get in some kind of fight. If you're not a fan of that, then I don't think you should go with us. But if you do want to see where we go, maybe there's something cool to see.
Well, fortunately for y'all, I've grown up fighting, so sure, I'll tag along.
Oh, look at Miss takes care of herself over here. Let's go. I'm assuming we've read all the books. I don't know how many we took.
You've had time to read the first two because they're chunky books.
Okay, are these the ones that are in Gnomish, or are they in Common?
These are the ones that are in Gnomish.
In the map?
The map is in Common.
Okay. Do I make any sense of the magic formula? No, with no arcane training at all?
You can't make sense of it for the parts that are actually like legible, that are Gnomish. Like you can't make sense of it, and then the parts that aren't legible in any language, you definitely can't make out.
Oh, that's right.
But you know that they're magical formulas of some kind for the ones that you can make out.
Forgot they
Just
were.
hidden behind some sort of cipher.
Am I the only one who knows Gnomish?
Pathos starts heading downstairs.
In answer to that question, probably.
Yeah, fair enough. What time of day is it?
It's currently daytime. Let's see if this actually... Oh yeah, that's right, because there's walls, so it is going to function correctly.
Pathos wanders up to whoever this guy is and says, greetings, my name is Pathos. My companions and I are on a journey. Have you been to any of the following places? Or March, Empire's Hold, Lesson March, Treyukt, Kyrgyzstan, Harpy Mountains.
This dwarven fellow just looks up at you and goes, I love you, man. He just grabs onto your shoulder. Have I told you about the time that I met an orc and we dated for 20 years?
You have not. This is not my query.
Well,
information Aurora March, Vampire's Hold, Masson March, the Harpy Mountain Village, Treyukt, or Orkistan.
what? Panty Mountain? Like, you can tell that this guy's just an absolutely wasted dwarf. Like,
Oh,
both him and the kobold that are sitting across the table, like, they clearly are not.
I can. Pathos is still gathering that. He says, I see you are helpful. Excuse me. And he walks over here. Walks over here. Excuse me. My name is Pathos. My companions are, he gives him the same spiel.
He starts like yapping at you in different kobold noises.
Let's see if I can speak that. I don't think I have Draconic, but we will find out.
I don't believe I saw it on your sheet. Common and choose a language. Oh, did you actually choose your languages?
That's right. I meant to ask you what sort of things it would be likely for Pathos to be programmed with. I never got around to asking you that.
Oh, well, that would have been. Actually, would have answered quite a couple of questions. Okay, so I'll go ahead and slap you down a couple. I need to. Right, so let me find the list of languages.
Looks like I chose Draconic. Looks like I chose Draconic. Oh. There you go. So I believe that's what kobolds speak, unless they do something.
That is what kobolds speak.
Okay.
Unless they change that in whatever iteration that they made new. Let me just give me a second because I'm just gonna double check your sheet. Not that I don't trust you, but I always gotta make double sure. Oh yeah, common and draconic. And then for the other two, stuff that would be a pretty safe bet to be programmed with would have been, one of them was goblin, and let me find the other one because I need to remember what the standard programming is for these things in the world. It would be goblin, and it looks like the other one was elven. For the other two languages.
Goblin and Elven would be okay. I think I only get to choose.
Yeah, Goblin and Elvish.
I'm gonna stick with Draconic unless you have a reason for me not to.
Nah, Draconic's fine. I don't see any reason as to why it wouldn't be it knowing the stuff that goes on in the background. But for some reason it says that you would choose okay, so you're a sage, so I believe that is 3 free languages, if I remember correctly, just because of your background.
Why? Okay. Well, while I work on that, please deal with the other players.
All right, but for the kobold, he goes, "Yeah, I've been to. I've been to the place that was called Vampires. Well, there aren't any vampires there anymore, so I think it's just called Hold now. But the forest is kind of scary."
That is logical.
I haven't been anywhere past Hold though.
Which forest do you mean?
The forest that the Hold's in.
Okay, so the one immediately east of us?
Yeah.
He's describing it as scary?
Yeah.
What about it do you classify as scary?
It's dark. Like
reside there. Or other dangers we should be aware of.
Well, like I just said, it gets dark there. And I'm a kobold. So past that, there's there's blink wolves. And past that, kind of just other forest wildlife. I don't know.
I'm sorry, there's blink what?
Blink wolves.
Blink wolves.
Yes.
Okay. Blink wolves. Acknowledged. Thank you for your time. And then he moves on, starts asking, he's going to go talk to somebody else, but I don't want to monopolize the time.
All right. Schnick, I see that you're over there in the corner or wall.
Yeah, I found out the arrow keys can move you, and I started bouncing around.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I'm gonna go over to this little lady at the counter then. How do you do today, ma'am?
Well, I'm quite all right. Can I help you with something?
Well, I know we've been here a while, but it's time we finally get going. Is there anything that we could settle? Anything that we owe?
Let's see, 2 weeks. He didn't pay up front, so that would be. You know what? Let's call it at 8 silver because you've been so nice.
How much money do I have?
Opens up coin purse, butterflies fly out.
No, actually, I have a lot of money.
Yeah,
I say, thank you, dear. Here you go. I just take one whole gold, tip on the house. But let me ask you a couple questions. You know anything about the surrounding forest in the area? Is it dangerous? Should we avoid it?
There's not really much there past the usual wildlife. There's a couple bandits that sometimes show up, but it's the forest, so bandits always show
Fair
up.
enough.
And then there's the only thing that's real different is blink wolves and what do the folks call those things? It's like a weird goblin or something. I don't know.
Well, what's weird about it? What do you mean? I don't think I've heard of a weird goblin.
Well, from what I've heard, and there's not much to go off of hearsay, but from a couple of different people have been talking about a goblin with rocks for arms.
Actual rocks? You mean like stones, big stones?
Yeah, something like that.
Ah, that's something I've never heard of. Maybe I should go check that thing out. You mentioned something about these wolves. What do you mean they blink? They can't see?
Well, blink wolves are what they call them, and they kind of, blink from place to place.
Well, that's a neat little trick right there. What's the furthest you've been? I guess you're from this area.
I haven't been much farther past Widgets. I actually live over in Verbono.
Ah, that's good. Good city, big city, very big city. But we'll be going in the opposite direction. So I think I'll just take information you got on the forest here, and I think I'll thank you for your way. Unless you've heard any rumors of any big dangers in the area I should know about before my journey begins.
Nope, I haven't heard no rumors of any dangers in the nearby area.
All right, well, thank you, doll. It's been a pleasure. Maybe we'll see us again someday.
Alrighty, anytime.
Ace, you said Elvish would be one of the languages that made sense, and what was the other one?
Goblin.
Okay. What were those goblins saying to each other as we were crushing the
Now in retrospect, those goblins which were kind of chirping to each other at the start, like playing cards and shit, it was like kind of just like a general talk of, oh, well then I'm gonna go ahead and bet I'm this much. We're like, oh fuck you lucky bastard. Like just talk of two people who probably were just killing time.
Clearly a bunch of degenerates.
Yeah.
Right. The others, I'm guessing, were all like just normal statements of battle.
Yeah, like, oh, just we're being attacked, and like, oh, go and get George, or like,
Oh God, they
typical
killed
stuff. Oh God, no, Jimmy! They got Todd!
All right.
So, Tara, you want to make any moves up there, or is Iona just kind of standing at the top of the stairs?
No, she's gonna walk down here and probably just go look for another fireplace, which is conveniently in this direction.
Yeah. And Pardis, are you up to anything?
What?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought that. My bad.
Oh, we're just hopping over tables, evidently. And we're gonna go check out this book here.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, we're checking out the book.
It's a magazine called Hearts Are Us, and it just has a whole bunch of different pictures of different priced like hearths and fireplaces, a couple of stovetops here and there.
And fire-based accessories.
Yeah.
Never mind then. And she'll come over here and look and see if there's anything interesting in this bookcase.
Alrighty.
Oh, look, 2021 pokers are coming in.
Is Pardis up to anything special, or just want to make sure that you're also getting some time here?
No, he's sticking to himself. If anything, he's decided to sit in one of these here chairs, and he's going to be reading his own book.
Alrighty. Iona, off of the books that are in there, they're mainly like catalogs or like sales magazines, something that's pushing something else. It's like mainly, for lack of a better word, sponsored material. Like stuff that like they probably pay to have a spot in the bookshelf over at the tavern, and then they pay the tavern so much the tavern just holds them there.
I guess we'll just grab one of those and start looking at it like a picture book in this chair.
All right. Oh, hey, Pathos. I see you standing over there by the Dragonborn.
I just waited my turn.
Well, I believe it is your turn, unless Schnick does anything.
No, I was just gonna ask as I walk past between these two tables. Do I hear anything interesting in their conversations?
I mean, these guys just sort of collectively.
So this table on your right, one with all the humans and the one elf, they're talking about a score that they just settled over at a dungeon.
I'm gonna approach their table, but I'll wait for Pathos to do his deal.
Greetings. My name is Pathos. My companions and I are on a journey. We are headed towards Orchistan. Do you have any information about the dangers or other concerns when traveling through Roarmarch, Hold, Lesson March, the mountains with the Harpy Village, Treyucht Forest, or Orchistan?
The Dragonborn is going to go ahead and turn in his chair. Let me find all this shit here. He's gonna go ahead and turn in his chair, and he's gonna say, "Yeah, I've been to all those places. Not really much to say about him. I mean, he's there. No, I'm not. Now I'm here. It's kind of meander. Nothing too much to really talk about. I mean, through the forest, there's a desert. I mean, you got sandworms and whatnot, but they're pretty much been just eradicated by the old hero Carl, I think his name was. He has a real beef against them.
I see sandworms, desert areas. Did you also
Yeah, it's
encounter?
not really.
You also encounter blink wolves in Hold.
Blink wolves? I mean, yeah, I mean they live in the Grand Forest there. I don't see why you wouldn't.
What dangers did you encounter there?
Well, the only real danger there is boredom, if you ask me. But yeah, it's just bandits and blink wolves, as far as I know, over in the hold. I mean, throughout the rest of the Grand Forest, I mean, like, you might run into your Juggernaut Goblin or Hawkmaster. It's not really much to worry about. I mean, you're kind of more likely to run into one of those on the mountain pass than in forest, but just generalized. Oh, that is right. The one little nasty buggers that really, really chafe my knickers, so to speak, are those this cave goblin little nasties. I mean, they just climb all over the fucking caves, and they're just so hard to pin down. Just like little grubby bastards.
I see. Do you have any information on how to defeat or avoid blink wolves, cave goblins, goblin juggernauts, hawkmasters, or sandworms?
For the cave goblins, you just don't go in the fucking caves, all right? For the blink wolves, I mean, they're still tangible, so just deal with them kind of like as to how you would a normal wolf, but don't be too sold on where they are currently, because they'll just fucking vanish and reappear behind you, little fuckers. As for sandworms, you kind of just pray to God at that point. Don't let it take you over to its nest, and you'll probably be fine. I mean, most times when you get taken to a nest, you're probably not going to be seen again because all the little tiny buggers are going to eat you up. But they can't really cease, which is like, I think it's just trauma sense. Like, just don't, move if you feel the ground rumble.
I also asked about hawkmasters and goblin juggernauts.
For the goblin juggernauts, you just kind of gotta, stand back because they're kind of slow buggers, but you gotta look out for those lunges, yeah, right? Because that's the only time where like they get like real speed. Other than that, they're pretty slow. You just gotta shoot them a lot. For Hawkmasters, I mean, it kind of depends because they're kind of smarter than most of the other feral gobos around there, if you remember saying. And like it kind of drops his tone as like you can see that there's the kobold over there, which would be considered one of the feral races. But yeah, I mean, if it's hostile, the little bugger, you just gotta kind of, watch out for the hawks, because he'll be a little slippery bastard, he's just got all them birds and shit, just don't let him scratch out your eyes or anything and you'll be fine.
You've been most helpful. And then he looked to the rest of the table.
No problem.
Do any of you have information to augment what I have just learned from your dragonborn friend?
They all just kind of look at you and go, not particularly, is what the old man says. There's not really much to add on there.
You've been very helpful. Thank you. And then he, leaves and starts moving to the other table. Let's see, Schnick engaged in it, and so we'll just sit or stand and listen.
Right.
Random question you probably haven't considered as the DM, but how tall are these tables?
That is true. I have not fully considered that.
I don't know if I can see over it.
How tall are you again? Because they're like average size. I don't know what like the average height of the table is. I think like it's what, like 2-3 feet for like your average
Oh,
table.
just barely. Then we're good. I think I'm 3'5" or 3'9" or something,
All
somewhere
right.
around there. Okay, so Schnick walks over and he sees this group. You said it's one of them's an elf. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, hello, fellow adventurers. I'm here talking about adventuring and conquering dungeons and whatnot, and we may be going on a similar path in the future. Not that I want to cross paths with you, cross roads angrily, but what do you know about this area? Done anything cool? Tell me about what you got.
Well, the dude who's sitting in the chair that's like right next to you, the fighter, or so it seems, he kind of turns over to you. He kind of crosses both of his legs and plants his face onto his fist while resting his elbow on the table. He goes, "Well, little guy, we just finished up the Twisted Gale dungeon just west of here. It's mainly meant for people who've been in it for a couple of years," and he dusts off his like shoulder guard. I don't know if I'd recommend it for you or your friends there. You all look kind of new, but the only real recommendation that I could say is that if you don't have a healer, then buy a couple health potions, and if you can't afford that, then just don't go adventuring. Then he kind of just turns back to the table and pulls out a deck of cards.
Snick just kind of chuckles and says, I didn't know it was that obvious we were new, but thank you for your advice, my friend. We'll be traveling to the northeast. Have you been in that direction at all?
He starts pulling out the deck and shuffling it. Yeah, we've been up there. We've been around. So long as you don't go out into the far desert or deep into the Grand Forest. The elf calls it the Rule God area, or the Burhagen area, I believe is what you said, right? And then you just look at the elf, just kind of look at him, just nod. And you can kind of tell that, like, she's not very cool with his general attitude of all this. And he goes, yeah, see, it's fucking deep forest. Like, just don't go there and you'll be fine. Stay out of the swamps, I guess. He finishes shuffling and starts dealing it out to his different companions and to himself. And, like, you should be fine, I guess.
Thank you, my friend. Oh, thank you, my friend. We will be able to hold our own. No issues there at all. And then he'll turn and look at the elf and say, you mentioned you know something about gods. Do you mind if we talk about this?
She just looks over at you and she goes, now isn't the best of times. I just got off of a journey and we just finished up a dungeon. We arrived about 2 or 3 hours ago. I would much rather have some time to decompress and just enjoy the spoils that we have recently acquired, if that's quite all right with you.
No stress at all. I enjoy the good feeling after a good dungeon, after a good adventure, after a good completion, a nice warm meal, nice bath. They have great showers upstairs. Don't know if you've been here before. It's a fantastic little place. Just on my way out, if you have anything to mention about this rural god of yours, as I walk out, no issues. I will start walking. You can mention as I walk off. No rush, no time had.
Well, it's the name of a place, actually. It's not a god. Back on the old maps, back when I was younger, probably about 200 years old, Rule God, Heulgard in common, as people know, was the deeper part of the forest where Banalak was, which was said to be the spring of the goddess of the marsh. But since she's gone silent, it's no longer called Rule God, and it's just lumped in the rest of the Grand Forest.
You know anything about why she's gone silent?
They might have to do something with the last election, but I never heard about who was chosen and who was not, so I can only assume.
Fair point. Thank you for your time. Sorry. Please enjoy your rest.
And you enjoy your journey. And then she goes back to playing the little game of Dragon's Ante that they've started.
You'll see Pathos walked up and asked him, I see you talking to tables too. Have you learned anything good? Anything we need to know? Anything that will save us when we're out there on our own?
I have learned about cave goblins, goblin juggernauts, blink wolves, sandworms, hawkmasters, and I arrived just in time to hear about Rule God, the spring of the goddess of the marsh, who is now silent.
It's Banalak is the name of the lake for the goddess of the marsh, sir. The elf turns around and says,
I'm sorry, I must have misheard. How do I say it?
it's Banalak. She had said was the name of the lake and that it's in the just area of the forest marked as Rule Guard on the old map.
Oh, it's actually on this
Okay.
map.
Got it. Rule Guard.
Yeah, it's south of where Orchistan would be on the old map.
Okay. That might be another thing worth checking out.
Yes, it's a silent god. Snake says, what you can add to the list of things you've learned about is the innkeep over there thinks that there's goblins running around who have stone arms. Is that what you're talking about by cave goblins or stone goblins? Is there a goblin that has stone arms? Have you heard anything about that?
Real quick, how do I spell the spring of the goddess of the marsh? D-A something?
Bannalach.
Okay. Sorry, what'd you say, Trey? Was that to me?
Yeah, just letting you know, I heard rumors about a goblin that has stone arms and asked if you heard any of that when you were talking to people.
I've not heard about goblins with stone arms. Perhaps they are related to the cave goblins, the goblin juggernauts, or the hawkmasters, which I understand are goblins.
Very well, very well. Where did the others go?
It says they're sitting in chairs. I believe they are trying to enjoy the fire. Again, the concept is foreign, difficult to understand. They are even
Well, let's
further.
go find out.
from that fire. Is proximity a factor of this?
Yes, a little bit. You know how your warning goes off when you're too close because it hurts, right? We want to be far enough back for it to not hurt, but not too far back that we're cold, but not too far forward. We gotta find that middle place.
Little place. And I just walk over and again stand awkwardly, like right about here.
You're gonna walk up and probably loudly interrupt your reading. Are we gonna be reading books all day, or are we gonna get out of here?
I was only reading to brush up on a few of my laws that we have broken, especially this one. But let's see. In the Adventurer's Guide on page 41, paragraph 1, involving death, it happens. I think we are in the clear.
I have no
We
idea
are
what
not
laws you're talking about, but
not
we
in-
are.
We are in a tavern. What is the clear?
Nick looks at you and says, wait, you have a book of the laws? We're on this quest looking for the gods, and you have it all spelled out in a book?
Sadly, these are the laws of man and Mer, not the gods.
Ah. Nick just laughs it off and looks at Iona and asks if she's ready to travel.
Suppose I am. This book's getting rather boring.
The bit rate for your audio quality just took a hit.
Mine?
Yeah.
Probably because I moved away from my computer.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah, I can move back if I need to.
That's fine because I can still just understand you. It just sounds like you are on Xbox Live from 2015.
Okay. No, in fact, on George's really weird looking computer. So.
Alright.
On this map here, are we able to see like I don't know, would we know how long this is going to take to travel?
I believe that this map actually has a scale to it. If I can find that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it shows in miles for each place. Funnily enough. And you probably cross about. I would say that it was a 3-day journey up to where Odin is now, and that's probably about 150 miles. So I'd say that you guys can probably travel about 50 miles a day at a nice brisk pace.
It is a brisk pace. Sounds good though.
So if we go across like one of the traveled roads, gotta head up north and then take the one that kind of passes along the border of the Grand Forest and the Kiergard Forest. Desert God. And take that route, which is a little bit longer, or that you could just take that cut through, which is a different path, which goes through Royal March up into the Vampire School and then around into the same place. And then the difference would be about 2 days would be shaved off if you take the quicker route, I would say.
Is that path horse accessible?
It's a less walk path, but like it is clear in the sense of that like people can walk on it, but like you couldn't quite get a horse and carriage through.
All right. How about a horse without a carriage?
Yeah, probably. It's a forest. The horse is probably able to find a way.
Cool.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I don't know that we really have a time limit, so I say we just go down the road.
Yeah, agreed.
Fine for me.
All right. Well, as you guys go on your journey, not much happens along the roads here because there actually are a couple of guard posts which are set up at like set intervals, probably about 100 miles apart from each other, just along this route because it's a major trade route. So there's not really much trouble happening there because it's a better protected area than some of the smaller paths, which are probably bigger targets for bandits instead of going into a place which is patrolled by guards normally. You can see off into where Kiergard is, like probably just like right at the edge of where you guys can see out into the horizon is that something metallic appears to glint, and like as like you walk along, it kind of like follows along of the sun hitting off of something metal out there, probably a like bar or something which seems to wind its way through the Kiergard Desert. After a couple of hours of walking, you do hear this like loud sort of just like clanging noise and then a very loud whistle as a large metal beast travels through the desert just off in the distance. Out of character, you would recognize it as a train, but in character, it's still a new tech.
Is it coming towards us?
Well, it's not coming towards you. It's just kind of like off there in the a desert, just crossing it. Just like right along its like line there. Probably, I think that's northwest by southeast would be where that like line is going from. Over there where Kiergard meets Masson March, and then all the way up to where Eston is. It's kind of its direction of moving.
Okay.
But yeah, so the first couple of days of travel, which is this little arch here across Kiergaard, which is the first 2 days, is pretty much just like that. Like just seeing. Oh, what?
Yeah, when you see that train, Pathos is going to say, maybe maybe that vehicle moves through the Masson March. It may come to a stop at the border. If it does, we could, perhaps they will allow us to convey ourselves upon it.
How much?
Perhaps we could, or we don't afford it. Because we can't afford it.
This will depend on the price of admission, yes. I mean, that's all I had.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that like nobody else had any input for it before I continued.
No, go on.
I was going to say Schnick's astonished, but he's also just become friends with a walking heap of metal, so he doesn't know what's in the world anymore.
Fair enough. So the first 2 days are pretty much safe as you travel through there, and then finally you start getting onto the mountain pass here. And as you get on the mountain pass, you see this little dude just sitting up in one of the trees with all these different birds just kind of circling him. He's kind of just like almost sitting there and like reaching into a bag of sorts and pulling out what looks like feed or something. I mean, like it looks like it could be dried corn or like some sort of like rice of some kinds, like beans maybe. And he's feeding that to them, just kind of just throwing them off of the tree branch that like he's like squatting on, just tossing it.
Curious.
Isn't that supposed to be the other way around? The birds in the trees and the man on the ground?
That it is.
In most cases, yes.
You would think so.
Iona,
Yes.
I see you prefer an axe for your weapon. Are you also capable of using one of these? And he like just sort of abruptly holds out a glittering rapier.
I'm capable of using it, but I wouldn't say I'm familiar.
This one is enchanted to be more accurate and strike harder.
Very interesting. Would you lend it to me?
That is why I am holding it out at this awkward angle.
Well, thank you. She'll grab it.
It's a +2 rapier that we found down in the dungeon.
Awesome. Thanks.
I'll go ahead and slap that into her inventory.
I don't even think I could use it. I cannot. I was going to try to do something with the enchantment later, but right now.
Yeah.
Pathos.
Actually, you know what? Iona, add it onto your D&D Beyond sheet, then I'll just import it in so I don't have to do anything, because it's going to be a lot easier for you to add it to your D&D Beyond sheet than it is going to be for me to
I've already done it.
literally. All right, cool, and I'll re-import.
As I was saying, Pathos, can you do me a favor and enter combat mode?
His helmet snaps down over his face, and he says, "Are we ready to rock?"
In a bit, I would prefer showing a show of force without actually using it.
You know, Pathos, I need to set up a goddamn macro so that I can just press a button and then change your token into combat mode.
10-4 cat, buddy. Yeah. Pathos, like as he's walking, like instead of doing normal steps, like he's stepping into one like martial arts pose after another. It's like watching a Power Ranger walk.
I love it.
And
If you
following
want-
behind him will be Pardus.
If you want, you can just use the combat mode permanently. Like that one is much closer to what he is right now, and
Fair enough. I shall update. That's not the right token. There, that should be the right token.
As
Magic.
magic, motherfucker.
The D beyond logos.
This bit in the middle here, that's the path, yeah?
Yeah.
Lictos Iona. After you, please.
Oh, I'm in the lead? Yeah, you got it.
Yep, I'm watching behind us.
Sorry. I'm back.
So when you get about their Pathos, you watch as this like little dude, he like snaps his head to go ahead and look at you, and he points, and then the two of you just like share like eye contact for about 10 seconds, and then he jumps off of the tree, and you watch as the birds kind of get underneath of him, and he like slowly falls off the side of the mountain pass here down to the forest below.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Strange.
The guy sits in the tree, the birds sit on the ground, he flies like the birds. What the heck is going on at this mountain?
It appears to be
It's
opposite
magic.
here.
How do you say this? The bird has flown the nest. Shall we pursue?
Negative. I, for one,
Negative
enjoy
or
having
what?
the ground beneath me
Acknowledge.
not moving towards me.
Why does the image that comes to mind for me of Pathos chasing that is Pathos like a swan diving off the side of the mountain going headfirst towards it?
Because that's probably what he'd do. Got feather fall around here somewhere. Actually, I don't
Just
think
10 points to Gryffindor.
no. I've got jump. That might do
Just
it.
look around. Maybe there are 6 Flags somewhere.
All right. Hey, how far down? Yeah, the forest.
How far down is that drop? That's probably about 400 feet
All right.
at this point.
Did any of the birds stay back?
There's a couple that like look to be like just like wild birds that like weren't really a part of the flock, but were there because of food.
I'm gonna
They're still kind of picking up some of it.
I'm gonna try to. I can speak with small beasts, so I'm gonna try to see if I can get anything from them about who that guy was.
Tasty.
That's what I figured. But the thing is not danger. That's what we're looking. You learn a lot by what's not said, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough. The wise gnome Schnickdel once said,
A little wise. Not intelligent, but a little wise.
yeah, after that, it's pretty much just walking the pass over to the Harpy Village. And at this point, see if this actually functions correctly. It is transitioned to nighttime.
Now, what?
It does work correctly.
Please remind me. I still have my night vision, by the way. I can get that.
Does it not grant you your night vision? I think it's granted you your night vision, hasn't it?
Where? Not sure.
Yeah, it
I
has.
see the whole map, so I think that means it is. Okay. Cool. Okay, remind me, what is it we're trying to do here? Why is the Harpy Village important? Let's see here. All of the details. The guys are near the top of the Harpy Mountains. We're meeting with the local guardians of the Holy Plateau. The altar is only briefly, as there's a detail of. Okay, so the altar in the Harpy Mountains was buried in lava.
The altar, I believe I posted somewhere else. Yeah, so on the post I made above that, it says, however, in the third book, there begins to talk about altars and encounters with guardians and make reference to a plateau on the Harpy Mountains and an old altar below Orchistan.
Okay. Yes. Okay, got it. Okay, so, all right, I understand now. So here we're looking to find the guardian of the whole. So we need to find the Holy Plateau, find the guardian of the Holy Plateau, and so hopefully they have some information about the gods and how to choose the next round.
Oh, then that's why we're here.
All right, well, in we go.
I'm just going in.
Going in fast.
Fast and hard.
Let's do it.
That's how we do.
Are these like,
Yeah, so like
I was just going to ask, are they
So,
regular people? Or
at
they,
this day, yeah, there's like different harpies that are kind of like meandering, just like in and out of their homes. It looks like probably dinner or something just like finished up, just going off of how it smells here.
Greetings, my name is Pathos. My companions and I are searching for the Holy Plateau so that we can meet the guardian of the Holy Plateau.
She kind of looks at you. She makes a couple of like clicking noises. She tilts her head.
Turns around. He'll try the same thing in Elvish, Draconic, and Goblin. See if any of those work.
You get pretty much the same response out of each of the different languages.
He turns around. I do not believe I speak a language they can understand.
Fabulous.
Were there any...
And then after you say that, you actually do hear from up on the next like kind of area up. You hear somebody go, well, not all harpies can actually speak common.
Turn to look in that direction. Which way am I looking?
Is there a way for me to like ping?
I think I can see
There is
your-
not. Oh yeah, that's right. You can. So it's this one. It's right here.
Pathos turns and looks at her. You speak common.
I do.
Yeah, and he's just like shouting across the way. He's not modulating his voice at all.
And this one's just gonna go back into their house, saying that you're now screaming.
Greetings. My name is Pathos. My companions and I are searching for the Holy Plateau so that we can speak with the guardian of the Holy Plateau. Can you help us find it?
Well, it's kind of late for that now, sweetie. I still have some leftovers if you wouldn't mind trying some of the local cuisine. And you can go in the morning.
I do not eat, but my companions do eat. I will ask them, and he turns around. The harpy above has asked us if we want to eat with them. Do you wish to eat with them?
Schnick will excitedly say, I'm always down to eat a meal.
We can, though. Do they have information that they could share with us while we eat?
He turns around and again yells back up. My companions would like to share a meal with you. Do you have information that you can share with us while they consume food and I stand awkwardly nearby?
Well, I don't know about the awkward standing part there, honey, but sure, yeah, I can talk.
He turns around. She can talk.
Pathos, please remember to move closer to one that you are talking to. For manners. You keep forgetting those.
How close should I be? What
Within
sort of
10
proximity
feet.
should I use? What's up?
Mid-range to low volume.
How high is this cliff?
It's probably about like 5 feet.
Oh, okay. All right. It was over to here then.
He just stands like right down at the abyss and like looks like I'm straight up just modulating.
But yeah.
Completely going against that advice, Schnick sees the harpy over yonder, points at her, and screams from where he's at. You're the one making us food? Where do we go? Which house is yours? I will be there in 5 minutes.
You watch as she takes one of her like wings and she just points at the house that's right like up here. That my mouse is on.
Well,
He just starts going the way.
is there a way around?
I feel is like pretty much almost full of sprinting because like he said 5 minutes. He's just like hobbling up there as fast as his little legs can carry him.
Pretty much.
The hell? This is just gonna jump up here.
All right. Oh, Schnicht. As you kind of rush past there, you do see something that's kind of odd, which it looks to be a human with a dog skull for a head and horns.
That
Is a
is
mouth
odd.
or at the head.
Yes.
So I'll stop in my tracks, I guess, where my token's at, and as I'm running in, and I'll look at it, and I will, what's it called? I'm seeing if he's evil. I'm looking at him carefully. Evil or
Make an
good?
insight check.
Well, I'm using the divine sense.
Spell.
Divine
Oh yeah,
sense.
the divine sense. He doesn't appear to be aligned to either side.
Okay. So knowing that, then I'll just ask him.
Divine sense should also tell you if he's undead or a fae or demonic or something like that.
It doesn't tell for any of those.
It will tell me if he's been desecrated.
He has not been desecrated.
All right then.
There Does it show if he's been desecrated ever, or like if he's just currently desecrated? Because I don't remember.
It says you also detect the presence of any place or object, so not people anyway, that's been consecrated or desecrated with a bless or hollow spell.
Oh,
And I will know if he's a celestial, a fiend, or an undead if he's within 60 feet.
He's not a celestial, he's not a fiend, and he's not undead. And he only has one thing on him, which is consecrated.
Okay. I will ask him that. Just kind of point at him and say, excuse me, sir, that's an interesting choice of headwear there.
Headwear? He just looks at you and goes, I don't think I know as to what you're talking about, sir. Well, I guess sir isn't really the correct term here if I'm referring to schnicked. Am I not?
You know my name.
Oh, yes, of course I do. And then we got Pathos, and there's Pardis over there, and then we got this one. Iona.
Stick walks a little closer and he says, how do you do this? How do you know this?
Trade secret.
A trade secret? What trade are you?
An alchemist of sorts, I guess would be what people would go call it.
Alchemist. Let me remember. Alchemist. You mean like a mixture of potions, per se. A mixture of potions means you know people's names?
It's not quite that, you know. I mean, yes, I do create compounds and whatnot, just like this little thing here. And he pulls out a bag of what looks to be a reddish powder. And he kind of just like opens it, and like you see him contemplate something for just a couple of seconds, and then he seems to decide against it and closes the bag back up and puts it away. But the name thing is something a bit more of the magical side. As you know, with any artificer, we have wells of magic and spells that can go along with those.
You mean to tell me you have a spell that tells you people's names?
In a way, yes.
Well, my friend, I don't know what magic you have, but it seems very interesting. We're going to eat a dinner over in this house over here. If you haven't eaten, I don't know if I can invite you in. It's not my house, but I'd like to keep talking to you. Unless you have dinner at your place, we can join you.
The harpy looks over at you and to the general conversation goes, oh, well, Rock just visits the village from time to time. He kind of just meanders.
Ah, so Rock is your name. You see, we've learned each other's names.
Oh, yes. How rude of me, knowing your stuff without providing my own, of course.
Do you know everyone's names or just ours?
I know yours and a few other people. It depends on the time of day, how the planets are aligned. You know how it goes with all this mysticism and whatnot.
Ah, yes, I see. Speaking of my curiosity, I'm a gnome. I like to look at things, like to know things, you know, but, what's this bag? Wait, can I tell if the bag was the consecrated thing?
The bag was not the consecrated thing. It looks to just be of something that's been made out of like other items.
Ah, okay, then I don't care about it.
Oh, fuck it.
It's probably important, but it didn't catch Schnick's attention. I don't know how long everyone else has been around. Have you heard this whole conversation?
Pathos heard pretty much all of it because he kind of came up as soon as like you had started approaching this guy. Parties came up a little bit after that, so he probably heard everything after he mentioned Pathos's name, because that's when he mentioned Pardis's name when he saw Pardis come up. And Iona was a little bit behind you, so I'd say around the same time as Pathos. It's when she showed up.
I want to be clear about something. Is this guy's head a dog skull with horns, or
yes.
is... Okay. So it's not
like his head, like his head past his neck. So like his neck seems to just go right up and connect with this canine skull.
Is the rest of him human looking?
I was about to ask.
Yeah, I'll put it in the lore chat.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask her too. She said, "I'm sorry. Go ahead." Okay. Well, me or you?
Tara is.
Oh, I can't even hear her.
What about me?
I thought you had something you wanted to say to him.
Oh, no.
Okay.
my mistake.
Well, Snake looks at him and says, "Ah, so she says you're a traveler. You come here sometimes whenever you need to travel to. Where do you come from? Where do you go? Why are you here? What can you tell us about this place? We're also travelers passing through. Did you know that? You know our names."
Well, I know that you're following up the path similar to some of my old friends. It's been a while since I've called any place home, so I can't really say as to whether I'm from anywhere, really.
Where was your last home?
Where was my last home? You see him like kind of like rub his chin, for lack of a better word, for quite some time as like he's appears to be thinking. And he goes, well, if I had to say, probably say a little place out in the city. It was a nice place. I had a pretty nice gig running there for a while. Because that's really the last place that I felt like home.
What would this city be?
Oh, you know, it's just a city. Does it really matter which? I mean, it's...
There are plenty of cities.
Yeah, but you probably don't know the name, or it's probably not called the same anymore.
Schnick suddenly just goes, "Oh!" And he pulls out the book that mentions rock and asks if this is him.
He goes, yes, of course, you've put it together.
How do you know these? How do you know these people? What do you know about them? What can you tell us? We're on the same quest, I imagine, and we got a lot to learn.
Well, and he kind of drops down to your level. Well, and like he kind of like grumbles to himself, you know, like there's not really much that I can say. There are things that are keeping me from being direct about this matter. But if I do have to say, probably from what the others have already told you, you can probably gather that there was a bit of fighting involved with some non-mortal kinds. Other than that, he kind of looks at all of you in kind and kind of stares at Pathos for a little bit longer than the rest. And he goes, after you finish up with what you're doing now, I would try and catch a boat with a Captain Shortpeg. Well, sorry, Shortpeg isn't alive anymore. I would try and catch a ride with Shortpeg's son, with his son, Jeremy, what the hell does he call himself now? Jeremy Risengard. I just spelled out the last name on it there. And I would have him sail you out to Dragon Isle, I believe is what it's called now. And once you get there, have him, and he points at Pathos, ask for ask for an audience with Dela, is what I would say.
Why him?
Again, not something that I can really talk about.
But you do know.
Yes, but I do know.
Well, since you travel around, you seem to know what we're doing better than we do. We're going to go on our way, and if at any point we seem to stray, show up and kindly guide us back along the way.
If we run into each other again, you are free to ask me questions, of course.
But that,
Now then, would you take yourself for a prankster? And you see like a bit of a glint light up in his eyes, and a bit of smoke kind of wisp out of the socket that doesn't have the lens in it.
Snake laughs loudly and says, "Yes, can you read my mind? How do you know so much about me?"
Just call it a guess. And then he takes back out that bag from before, and he hands it to you, and he says, "Have some fun with this."
I'll open it and look in it. What do I see?
It's a bag full of like fine reddish powder.
I've got the biggest smile on my face, like you, and I don't know what it is, but I'm still smiling. So I just look at him. I say, "What is it?"
It's a little concoction that I've made from way back in the day. I call it agony.
What does it do?
Well, it puts somebody through agony. You know, you just throw a bit of it, you can put it in a sandwich, you know, just lots of pain.
You, man, have a twisted sense of pranking, but you know what? I will take this gladly. I have some ideas.
I mean, it doesn't last very long. It's kind of more of a disabling thing. I mean...
We'll figure it out. We'll experiment.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. It's a good way to keep goblins with very dangerous items in check. I should know if you guys find any mention of Boomer. You'll understand a little bit better. Oh, Alvarin's back.
Who is this Boomer you speak of?
Test.
Oh,
Mr. Rocks, I require clarification.
yes.
When exactly are you taking this boat to Dragon Isle?
Oh, no, I don't take a boat to Dragon Isle. I visit, yes, but I don't take a boat. I was recommending that you fellows do after you finish up with.
When do you recommend?
Whenever you finish up with your current escapade.
Do you mean dinner or our journey to Orchistan?
I would say after Orchistan, because as much as I would love to see another tin can throw itself off the side of a mountain, it's not the most coercive at the moment.
Understood. We will finish the escapade of dinner, and then the escapade of Orchistan, and then begin the escapade of Dragon Isle.
All right. Well then, I guess it is pretty late now. You all have not eaten yet. I should take my leave. What is this Drew cuff for?
Farewell. We will never forget you.
All right. Partis, is there anything that you're going to do with that druid craft, or is that just you testing stuff?
Just want to see what the weather's going to be like tomorrow.
Clear. The slight chance of rain.
Not so cool.
Snake's gonna wait for everyone else to go into the home, and then when he's back, kind of alone with Brock, real quick, he's gonna talk in a lower voice. How do I use this powder? If I have to touch it, it's gonna hurt me.
Well, You see, it doesn't hurt on touch. They like have to eat it or get it into like a wound or something else, like eyes, breathe it in, Yeah.
Sticks in it, says okay, and thank you, and runs in to eat.
Right. And as you run in to eat, Rock doesn't seem to move, but like right as you make the turn to go into the door and the door itself kind of like gets in the way, it swings back, Rock is just gone. As soon as like nobody has their eyes on him, he disappears, like vanish. And there's a puff of like purple smoke there.
Ah, he should have made the purple bag. So I don't know what this harpy cooks, but I'm not going to wait for an explanation. I just start eating.
All right. So for those of you who actually do check the like a little bowl of soup, it looks to be like some sort of stew of like different herbs and like cooked grubs.
Grubs. Slimy yet satisfying.
Oh, you're a fan of grubs too? We have them in the forest. Ate them all the time.
And over on the side is like a little bowl of like seed. And then there's a cup of water as well to help.
I'm going to look around for a lampshade.
All right. There appears to be a lampshade that's like made out of leaves, which have been like peeled into two halves, like just like right down along where the stem would be for the leaf, so that it's like thin, like almost translucent pieces of leaf.
Yeah, Pathos, while everyone else is eating, is going to like try it on his head and like stand in a corner for a moment, and then like at an awkward point in the conversation, he says, "Can you discern me from a lamp?"
The harpy kind of chuckles and goes, "No, sweetie, I can't."
Excellent. This is the perfect disguise. I will create a lampshade. And then I put it back where it is.
She kind of just laughs again.
In my head, start planning out a folding lampshade that I can fit in a pocket or something.
Thank you very much for giving us food and somewhere to hang out for a while.
Oh, good. Not a problem. I mean, we tend to be pretty friendly ever since the small gnome fella and a band of friends walked through here with Rock before, and they took care of our little kobold problem.
A band of friends?
Yes. Let me see if I can't remember the names that my grandmother told me. There was Boomer, Carl, there was Mikhail, Peepers, Theora, Wanza, Boomer, Rock, Dela, and they had Vrig with them as well. If I'm remembering what my mother told me.
Sounds like a pretty large group.
No,
Zach,
I would say so.
it is, and it is also the group that we are following in the footsteps of. So it seems. Oh, are you going to eat that black one? That's a very tasty grub.
Who's he asking?
Tastes like nutmeg.
Mhm.
So, what can you tell us about this group of travelers that you remember from the stories?
Well, from the stories, they showed up. Uh, they were searching a god of some sorts. And they ended up showing up and helping us with a kobold problem, which we had been having of them stealing our supplies and whatnot. They went up to the Holy Land. They did something up there. And then they came back down, and they stayed here for a couple more days before returning for some reason. And I'm sorry, but I can't quite remember anything else that was a part of the story. You know that there was something else that was big that was passed down within my family. Because most of the story is just that they came, they solved the problem, and then they left. But for some reason, my grandmother and mother always told me to never forget this one part of the story that I just can't seem to remember at the moment.
So your mother and your grandmother told you not to forget this one part, and yet you forget it.
It just appears to elude me at the moment.
You wouldn't
I'm
have a
scatterbrained harpy, can't quite remember things.
Was any of this written
If that's what
down?
you're implying. What?
Was any of this written down?
No, we can't exactly write.
I see.
We don't have hands.
Well, if for some reason it comes to mind, please let me know.
Oh, well, of course. I'll try and remember, but I don't know. It just I don't normally forget these kinds of things.
I'm sure everyone forgets something now and then.
Okay. Pathos asks, you say another band assisted you with a kobold problem. Do you have any problems right now that you need assistance with?
She kind of looks to mull something over in her mind for just a moment, and then she goes, well, outside of the usual hobby problem, there's nothing that I can think of.
What is a usual harpy problem?
Well, she kind of fidgets for just a bit. Then she goes, if you don't know much about hobbies, we have this small issue when it comes to, you know, she kind of just pauses.
I do not know.
Well, you see her like kind of like scratch at the back of her head. Hobbies are a all female race. And you know, this is actually a pretty delicate subject, so I think I'm gonna stop here.
Pathos just stands. Says, if it is not something we can help you with, then there is no point in continuing.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. And then she kind of just sits there quietly for the rest of the meal. Just kind of like cleaning her feathers, pretty much, just like standing off in one of the corners.
Cool. You say it's evening, so it might be time to rest. You may as well rest here. Yeah. If I know I stepped away. I don't know if we've negotiated a place to stay the night.
Not yet, but as everybody finishes eating, you kind of look and see that she kind of has finished like cleaning her feathers, and she has gotten like futons, basically is just what they are, and has like laid them out over in one of the corners of her little house underneath of the window that's on in the back. And from there, like, she appears to have gone off to one of the other rooms to sleep.
Okay, well, Pathos is going to shut down and enter standby mode.
What is the tallest spot in this building? I'm assuming it's kind of tall.
So the tallest spot is that there are several perches that have been built into the house, probably for like stand on throughout the day. But the tallest place that you could get to without tearing up the wallpaper is probably up on top of the bookshelf that's here.
Cool. That's where Pardis jumps up there in the most ungraceful way that you could possibly imagine. But since he doesn't have to make the check, he gets there easily enough.
All right.
And that is where he makes his bed for the night.
Yeah, Schnick just curls up in one of the futons and is as comfortable as can be. If anyone's watching him, he actually does kind of wave his hand over his bedroll to warm it up so he sleeps when it's warm.
All right. Well then, the night passes.
And you've all been robbed.
Oh no.
Hey, you've all been robbed. Oh no. But yeah, the night passes and you get waken up to what sounds like one of the harpies screaming as the crack of dawn shows up.
Screaming, you say?
Pathos.
Yeah, like not a distress sort of scream, like something kind of more like a very loud call of some sort.
Yeah, Schnick jumps up in bed, pulls out a dagger, and looks to the harpy in the room to see if she's distressed by this call or not.
It's like a
No, she's just... Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it.
It's like a cock-a-doodle-doo. And the harpy who had provided you housing and food for the night is like just now getting up. And you can hear her like kind of shuffling around in the side of her room, like probably like putting on clothes and shit. Before, after a couple of minutes, like coming out and like she starts like putting stuff onto the stove after taking it out of a small like a little foot chest, which like she opens up with her feet, and then like she just starts cooking.
Yeah, Schnick stands there with his dagger in hand, very still, listening very carefully. He doesn't hear anything else, and then starts rolling up his bedroll and packing his things, waiting for the breakfast meal.
The breakfast that Shia makes is fried egg and a corned beef hash with a dried beef instead of like actual moist stuff. It's like beef strips that have been like dried out.
Thank you for your hospitality. After this morning meal, we will press on.
All right. The holy plateau, she says with a bit of a yawn, is like just a little bit farther up the mountain. You just got to go over past the chief's house and just keep going back. Find another small like walking path back there. Only about a person wide. That's you want to follow that, and you'll get there in no time. It's again like maybe a day's yeah, it's about a day's round trip, pretty much.
All right, off we go, I guess.
And as they leave, Pardis made a point to leave 8 silver behind.
All right. Well, then when you guys leave, after a while, you get up to the Holy Plateau, and it's full of fucking steam.
Full of steam?
Yeah, steam.
You mean like mist?
Yeah. Like hot water.
Is it painfully hot?
No, it's just like it kind of almost feels like a sauna up here. And like you can hear several geysers kind of just going off in the background pretty much almost constantly. Just like alternating between like, oh, like 5 of them just like went off over there, and then just a different 5 went off somewhere else, and like it's like kind of just like a poof, 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 and like just like all over the place.
Well, Schnick is sweating profusely in his armor. Does anyone have any idea over here? Anything that we're looking for? We'll keep our eyes open for.
The books mentioned the guardian of the Holy Plateau.
Ah, yes, we must find the guardian. Any idea who that may be or what?
Afraid I don't. Guess
Yeah, did the books have any sort of...
It just refers to them as the guardian of the plateau.
Okay, or about like where they ran into him, other than here on the Holy Plateau?
The reference is pretty much that like they kind of just got up here. There's reference of some sort of weird animal that had geysers on it, and then the guardian appeared.
An animal with geysers on it.
Yeah.
No, if we're looking for a guardian of this plateau, then why don't we just do something to where the guardian would be summoned?
Oh, that's a smart thinking.
With that, Schnick just starts yelling for guardian.
Well, what the hell? Pathos will pick up some rocks, put it in his little in the slot in his arm, and you hear it start to spin up, and he'll like pick like a rock formation nearby and just obliterate it with a shot. And he'll stop and wait.
Alrighty then. After the rocket, like pretty much almost immediately after the rocket explodes, you hear some sort of like weird noise, like a brrrr, and then like this weird sort of like hippo-looking creature with like what at first looks like a turtle shell on its back runs out and just kind of just gallops deeper into the steam.
I'm sorry, what did it look like?
Last story.
It looked like a hippo with a turtle shell on its back.
A hippo with a turtle shell that kind of glanced up and then ran away?
It made a weird noise and then galloped off into the steam.
If this is the Guardian, I do not think it understands its function. Let's follow.
Yeah.
Maybe
Schnick says, I was just.
What's that, Tara?
I just said maybe try it again.
All right, sure.
No. Schnick says, no. Stop.
No, too late. I just shot something.
I just shot something.
I just shot something. It's too late. I'm doing it.
Do it. Yeah.
It's been done.
The idea is already been set in motion.
Yep. Yeah, I obliterate some other rocket formation.
Right. As you obliterate another rock formation, like nothing runs out from behind that one and kind of just crumbles, and like that's that.
After that one, Schnick looks at Iona and says, you can't tell him to do things such as blowing things up because he's already too trigger happy. Just we gotta keep him held back. Don't let him loose on the world. You'll learn these things. And Schnick just walks out, following up here with Pardis, thinking, it's not a very good Guardian if he's the Guardian, so I don't know that it's him. And he just continues walking, screaming Guardian.
Guardian!
Yeah, where are you?
Guardian!
Guardian, where are you?
Does Iona have her horse?
I should, though we never mentioned picking him up from the stable.
We did, because I said, well, you picked him up from the stable, and then after that, you put him back in the stable, and then you guys would have went off to the tavern. So you could have picked him up. We can hand wave that. Because I figured that would have been the thing that, hey, I paid for this horse. I think I'll go ahead and leave with the horse. But if you want to say that she just forgot the horse there, I'm also fine with that. I mean,
I would assume that she would go pick up the horse before she left.
Cool.
Are you suggesting we sacrifice the horse for the Guardian?
No, I'm suggesting that she's faster than the rest of them. Take this place out.
Sacrifice the horse.
No.
shoot it with
We had a familiar in my other campaign.
I've got my
attached a grenade to it.
Sorry, what's that, Tara?
I said I have it's fine. I was saying that I have a familiar in my other group, and we pretty much just kill it a million different ways. Like we put a grenade on it. It set off runes for us.
Good use of a familiar.
What?
Good use of a familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Pathos recommends. You are mounted. Perhaps you can scout this place faster than we can.
I can try to. We'll just kind of do like a little perimeter thing.
This is a neat effect.
yeah. So what I had to do with these is that they're just light light sources with special light animations. Then I colored them
I
white.
was about to ask if it was just an illumination.
Yeah.
Nice.
Circling around the map, do we find anything?
So as like you're kind of wandering around the map, as you pass by, I'll pull you back to there. As you pass by here, you do end up running into another one of those hippo turtles. However, now that you have a closer look at it, and it's kind of just meandering around, it looks to be like that creature that had been described in the journal, like the ones that have a geyser on their back. But what is weird to you is that the geysers aren't pushing steam out; they're actually pulling steam in.
Does it look like it's intelligent enough to speak?
Oh, definitely not. It looks dumb as fuck. Like you can tell.
Okay.
Like it's definitely not a very bright creature.
All right. We'll just make a mental note of it and mention it to the others later, and continue on.
How big are those things?
They're large creatures.
Oh, never mind.
So they're probably about the size of a horse and a half, I would say.
Iona's new steed. What?
There you go. Oh man, if you can get to riding one of these, that would be amazing.
But yeah, you like kind of make it all around. Like you just see another one of those weird creatures by the time that you get back to all these guys. And also the sun has also now started to set, just now that so much time has passed since you guys had walked up the hill. And that, so like the sun is just now starting to get so that it's starting to dip below where the plateau is, and it's almost level with it.
Did you find anything?
I only found those like turtle-looking creatures. At least the one that we saw through the explosion.
They do not appear to be hostile. Let us move closer to the center, and this is going to lead the way, like right into the middle here of the mist.
Right.
Snake's gonna go around this rock to see what he sees.
Bardus climbs on top of a rock to see what he sees.
There you go. A little climb speed.
It's useful.
Yeah, it's a real toss-up between climb speed and swim speed. Climb speed's gonna like come up more often, but swim speed, like when you need it, you really need it.
Yeah, most definitely.
In this little chamber down here where I've wound up, is there anything of interest?
That little chamber. I'm trying to find your token because the fog makes it kind of hard to see.
You know what?
Where's that Pathos? Oh, I see you now.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
It's down there. It looks to be like a nest or something for the like little hippo guys, because there's like guys who are like right in the center of it, and there's like 2 or 3 of them that are kind of just like sitting there, just like standing next to it, kind of just waiting for it to go up, and then it goes up. They all make a noise, then they kind of just like switch places around.
Things are stupid. All right, I'm gonna stand about here. I'm gonna face the way the sun is setting, so off to the west over that way. And I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna do. Where is it? Yeah, and I'm going to cast Thunderwave in this direction, to just blast some of the steam out of the way so we can get a better look at what's going on over here. So his arms snap out to the side. They begin to vibrate, and with a little step forward, he slams them together, and there's just this incredibly loud thunderclap.
So there is a very brief moment where the steam seems to part in that little area around you, and you can actually see more than like 5 feet in front of you. But then it all kind of just fills back in. But then shortly after that, you do see as the sun's rays kind of glint off of the edge of the plateau that's over there. And a long shadow forms across the plateau here. And the steam clears and collects in this little center area. See this thing kind of just form.
Well, that's ugly.
You're ugly.
What? What's ugly?
Can you not see it?
Does he not have vision?
No, he has vision.
Do you mean this kind of formation in the ground?
No. Can you really not see it?
I can't see anything either.
Is there a token?
Is it just Schnick tonight? Is it just Schnick tonight who can see it?
Andy, I'm sending you a text. You got to see what you're missing.
It's a little break.
I can't see a damn thing. Like, I can see the map. I can see my companions, Iona, Pardis, Schnicht, and myself. And that is all I see.
What are we?
And then
You see
right.
nothing in that box.
Nope.
Yeah, did you see nothing?
Nope, nothing's in that box.
That's awesome.
I think it's just you two, because I think that Pardis can also see it.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Well, for those of you who can't see, I'll go ahead and post this into the lore chat for its full image.
Lore chat. Oh dear goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it kind of just sits there, and it just seems to like finish forming, and then you watch as 2 green lights kind of just blink on. Pretty much, they fade in, and it like slowly scans across
Can we get
all of
like
you.
a box of where it is? Cool.
Okay. I'm looking at this image. Is it metallic?
There appears that its head and torso is metallic. Yes.
Huh. Oh, now I can see it.
Weird.
I still can't.
Oh no.
Move closer. Can you see it if you stand closer to that square?
Yep, there it is.
I think
Oh, so
I think your vision's shorter than it needs to be.
No. Okay, so I just figured out. So Foundry does this thing for the tokens that like basically if you don't move, then like it won't update your vision. And they hadn't moved, but you and Pardis had. So I think what happened was that when I spawned it, because I just pasted it right in, it didn't update their maps because their active vision from the last update didn't have that as part of it, but you and Pardis were coming back to that area, so it updated for you guys.
Sounds legit to me.
That's weird. All right, so Pathos actually gets right up close to it. and just kind of looks up at it and is sort of examining it for similarities to his own design.
There doesn't appear to be much in the form of similarities, other than the fact that it looks to have a metal shell,
Sure.
which is just pulling in steam from the bottom, which for some reason is propulsioning it up, and then it's putting it out from those two shoulder vents, and then the ones that then form its arms.
Right. He says, "Greetings. My name is Pathos. These are my companions, Iona, Arda, and Schnicht for short."
And then it looks down at you and it goes, "Greetings.
Real quick
I am the
question.
Guardian." Yeah.
I'm sorry. Real quick. This isn't what the other things look like, is it?
No, that's not what the little creatures with the turtle shells
Okay, sorry,
look like.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's fine because that is a valid thing. I just don't have an image for those guys because they're dumb looking and you can't find anything on Google for them. And I can't be bothered to pay somebody to draw that waste of space.
All right.
I'm on like 30 different Patreons, so I get like shit like this every now and again. That's nice.
Yeah, that's a cool image. So, yeah, he says, "Greetings, I am the Guardian. We are seeking you.
Yeah.
We are
Many.
tasked with choosing the gods for the next 500 years. Do you have any information that can help us?"
Many seek me, for I am one who can give and take. Not many have seen me. You are the second of the groups that I have felt the need to show my presence.
I suppose the first was a few centuries ago.
Time is not relevant to one as old as I.
I see. And how old are you?
Time is not relevant to one as old as I.
Well, you say old, but then wouldn't that also mean that you could be young?
She has you there.
Disappears. just.
He's like, "I'm out."
All right. Until I've been defeated. So after just a couple of minutes,
Iona defeats the Guardian with a question.
so after a few minutes, it does come back up. This cry is valid. This one is both young and old.
Pathos definitely put up a metal fist for a fist bump to Iona. That was too good.
Indeed, it was.
Fist bump tag.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, it is a good question.
Quite so. I mean, geez, I actually never even thought of that. I mean, I've used that for characters before and never had that be one of the questions asked.
Did it make you feel better? I didn't know I was going to ask it either.
All right.
Like, wait a minute, this actually works.
Now that you have that out of your system, can you tell us anything we need to know about how to choose the gods for the next 5 centuries?
Choosing gods for centuries.
That is our
This
task.
one thought that you would ask questions like those asked before.
What was asked before?
How to seal a god. Specifically, one second. I forgot the name of the big bad evil guy from the last campaign. I am not smart. Good thing I have notes saved somewhere for this. Specifically, how to defeat the god known as Ulthgol.
Who is Uthgul?
The god of tricks and shadows.
Was he sealed away?
He is sealed but was not.
He is sealed but was not what?
He is sealed but also was not sealed. He was defeated and also triumphed.
Please explain.
Things that have happened before have ceased to be. Things that will happen have continued.
Daddy, I made a fire bulldozer. Look.
Fire bulldozer. We might need one of those in a minute.
Yeah.
Pathos is just kind of struck by the inanity of these answers because they do not follow any sort of logic. So he's going to stand there and like puzzle through it for a bit.
As you're kind of just like sitting there, mulling through it, and unless anybody else has anything to do, a couple moments pass in silence. Does anybody have anything that they want to do after that?
Yeah, what does Divine Sense tell me about this guy? Nothing?
He's good.
Oh. That's actually,
Yeah, and he's a celestial.
actually both unexpected. All right, my head's no longer in the game. Let me think.
He's a celestial.
What?
So he's a celestial?
Yeah, he's a good aligned celestial, is what Divine Sense told Schnichtel.
So now that I've seen that this guy's good and hasn't attacked Pathos, should go walk up and say, so how do we seal gods?
Views change, results vary. Altars found when once were buried. Ruins new and cities old. Lost peoples need to be told.
Any chance you would explain that riddle?
It just looks at you.
Maybe
Just a blank stare.
explain it much better than that. She's gonna look to that thing and speak in celestial, and just ask him if he can clarify.
Oh, right, that's right. She's an ASMR.
Yep. She's looking at this like, I know him.
New city shine, both when built and when burnt to the ground. New becomes old, old becomes dust, dust becomes new. Change in tides, change in times. What once is covered must be uncovered. What is hidden must be found. What is lost must be buried.
At that, she'll just look over to everyone else and kind of just say in common, that didn't help at all.
Oh, it plenty. It's speaking in oxymorons.
Yeah, Snick just kind of shrugs his shoulders and says, well, we know of one altar that's been buried. Maybe we should unbury it and fulfill at least one of the lines of this cryptic puzzle he's got over here.
When Uthgul was defeated, but not, did his nature change? Is he now something else?
Once captured, now not. Both bound and free, tired but not.
Huh.
It's not the second knot isn't knot. It's fuck. Hold on, I won't be able to spell. It's that knot.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
Tired, but not as in nothing.
Yeah.
Tired, but nothing. All right. What I'm getting out of this is alarms.
Snick asks, where is he now?
Planes yet opened, but not discovered. Guardians of places that do not yet have doors. Windows remain closed to those who do not look. And planes can be shifted, but not traversed.
You're a guardian. Where's your door?
This one does not have a door, for this one does not guard a shift.
I assume you're going to ask us to jump over your hand at some point.
Why would this one ask for such a thing?
Because you are giving us things that are contradictions, and as beings such as yourself require a task that is nearly impossible. Therefore, asking us the impossible of jumping over your hand would be the same as what you are giving us.
This one does not ask of impossible tasks.
What is a shift?
Shift is change. Shift is time. Shift is place.
You said you do not have a shift. From your other statements, I extrapolate that the guardians you speak of guard shifts into other dimensions.
It stays silent about that matter. It's the first time that it doesn't actually answer one of your questions.
Other dimensions or other planes?
Dimension, plane. These are synonyms in the context I'm using them. He stated, when Schnick, for short, asked where Uthgul is, the answer was about planes discovered but not yet opened, windows that remain closed to those who do not look. Something about a guardian, I forgot. And
guardian of doors, yet to be unlocked. Shift of planes. Then I forgot what the fuck else I said.
So yeah, my thinking is this, like Schnick for short here asked something really brilliant. He's like, where's your door? And he answered, I do not have, this one does not have a shift. So that suggests that he's talking about shift as in like in the context of a place you shift from one plane to the next. But a lot of this is just too cryptic for me to figure out. Uthgul, the god of tricks and shadows, was sealed but not sealed, defeated but also triumphant. Trey, what did you get about the altars? I wasn't writing things down at that point.
I didn't hear anything about it, sir.
Altars yet hidden. Wait, no. Fuck. It was altars yet buried.
Oh, yeah.
But still uncovered. Ruins of old, now new, yet to be discovered. People of lost need to be told of changes yet untoward, is, I believe, what I said.
Yet untoward?
Yeah, untoward.
Okay.
Schnick looks at the group and basically says, what if each one of these lines applies to something in the world, one of the various things we have to do on our way? The one that sticks out to me is the altar that's buried but still uncovered, and ruins old, new to be discovered. If Orkistan now lives in a city that's old, but it's new, and there's an altar underneath, that could be that. I could be making it fit.
Perhaps by a city that is old but new, he means ruins that are not occupied by some other creature.
I have to say, you guys are getting really close on many different points and linking them with things that, like, I didn't think that you would link them to.
Nick's gonna ask this creature.
I wouldn't have unless Schnick had asked, "Where's your door?" and he, said, "I don't have a shift." That things in
different wording. I mean, like, I am trying to be very careful with it, which I'm taking forever to fucking respond. But
well, Schnick's gonna look at the guy and ask, I forgot what I was gonna ask actually. So never mind.
If we encounter, what should we do to seal him again?
Defeats have changed, no longer continue. Triumph was created when attempts were discontinued.
This suggests that something was keeping him at bay, but no longer functions. What attempts were discontinued?
Chances to leave were once found. Need to return, one had found. Through the Dark One, a path was seen. And toward the end is where they had been.
I have logged these as best I can in my memory banks. I suspect some of these lines will make more sense further on in our journey.
And then, after all the silence, it finishes off as it slowly starts to sink down towards the little area here. As the steam begins to spread back out, it says, "One's view can change an answer. Story of past is called his story. Changes in view, changes in answers. Good and bad depends on side." And this is the last line I had for this. And that which shines is not always treasure. Sometimes dust and rust can hide what's clever. Then it sinks back into the ground here, and all the steam starts like slowly spreading out and filling up the area again.
I missed one of the things you said, but I think I got the gist of it.
One's view can change an answer. Stories of past is called his stories. Changes in view can decide the answers. That which shines is not always treasure. Sometimes dust and rust can hide what is clever. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I think there was like just one little line I missed, but it was basically the same kind of like messages, like, you know, your point of view can change what is right and wrong. Kind of.
Oh yeah. That one was good and bad is decided by the side.
That's right. All right. Well, if he sinks down in there and it's nighttime, we may as well rest.
And the shadows finish lengthening, and the entire plateau is plunged into darkness.
Pathos will create a. How big of a light can he make? Hold on.
And when it is, okay, hold on here. To fix the fog.
Yeah. Pathos's eyes begin to glow and spread a 5-foot radius of light, so that people can see where he, in the dark at least.
5 foot of light, you said?
Yep. 5-foot radius of light.
All right, let me go ahead and get that. And the color of the smoke has changed like a dark purple hue. Like that?
Yeah.
Oh god, that's too bright.
Yikes.
Jesus.
Well, that's where I am.
I'll just leave it that way. It's fine. Jesus, that's a little bit too much light.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Maybe that will fix it. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
At least now it's directional.
Yeah. But yeah, if we can find a place to rest around here, let's do it.
Right. You could descend back down the mountain, like get down there, like right as probably midnight would hit. If I had to take a gander.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's quite interesting. Unless you flesh bags need to, get out of all this sauna heat. I don't know how well a cat does in a steam room.
Not great, I gotta say.
Nope.
All right.
Like, let me see if I can find a picture. That's not a meme.
We may as well head down the mountain then. I'm fine with it either way.
The sauna heat probably isn't too good for robots either.
That's a good point. It's probably all minerally full of like lime and salt and other nasty things.
Yeah. It's a way to make it rust if you weren't like magically protected from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, now how did your character die? Oh, he corroded away.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a bit, guys. Handle something.
Okay.
But yeah, Pathos will go with the group, whether they're heading down the mountain or standing by.
Going down the mountain.
When she comes, I will be going down the mountain when she comes. Dumb. But yeah, so you guys go ahead and make it back down the mountain. And the lady who let you stay in her house before goes ahead and like lets you stay back on in again. She's already made food. This time it's kind of more of like a pasta sort of thing. But it's like with like a weird sort of like starchy noodle instead of like, the normal like, oh, you put it in a boiling water and then it's like a soft noodle like, but this kind of more like starchy and powdery, kind of like it was just dough which had been like heated to the point like we're like it doesn't just fall apart anymore, but like it wasn't like mixed fully. And it very much does taste like not very well mixed dough. And then it has a bit of like sauce on it, which is like a basil tomato sauce.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. With a side of a fruit juice of some kind, like you can't really tell like what kind of fruit. I mean, it tastes kind of like a slightly sour sort of apple. But yeah. You drinking something there, Tara?
Yeah, sorry.
It's cool. I was like, there's weird sound going on.
Actually, that wasn't me drinking. That was after me drinking, my throat making a weird noise. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that it's downtime until Alarin gets back. Actually, you know what? Why don't we take a 5-minute break? Because it's 10:56. We'll meet back at 11. People want to go ahead and grab food, drink something or other. Now that I've heard Tara.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, I'm back. What happened? Who?